وَمَا اللَّهُ يُرِيدُونَ ظُلْمًا لِلْعَالَمِينَ صدق الله العلي العظيم. Surely Allah speaks the truth. Allah says in the Holy Quran, these are the communications of Allah, which we recite to you with truth. And Allah does not desire any injustice to the creatures. Man is always in search of justice, true justice for him and his family. But can we say the justice in which we receive from man as true justice or true injustice? Sometimes people may say this is definitely true injustice, because the laws in which we seek are laws in which are pure, without any corruption, from the people that create the laws. Because we see that when people create a law, sometimes they use this law to benefit either themselves or the party in which they are affiliated with. And we know that these laws, man can't really benefit if you don't follow the same type of social status as the people that's making the laws. So somewhere down the line, the people that don't fit into this criteria will be in loss, or they will be treated unjustly. But the laws in which Allah has created for man are just, without a doubt, because they are from a pure source, which is Allah. And Allah says in the Holy Quran, He said, "O you who believe, be maintainers of justice, bearers of witness. For Allah's sake, though it may be against your own selves, or your parents, or near relatives. If he be rich or poor, Allah is near to you, them both in compassion. Therefore, do not follow your low desires, lest you deviate. And if you sever or turn aside, then surely Allah is aware of what you do." This verse is very important. It said this verse shows the importance of justice in the sight of Allah and Islam. Because here it is, Allah, as what said, be the maintainers of justice. So if Allah is telling us to be maintainers of justice, of course Allah Himself is just. And He will not do any injustice to none of His creatures. So as we the Shias of the opinion that justice is an attribute of Allah, and it is one of the tenets of the 5 principles of religion. As you see in Usul-ud-Din, first one of the things is what? That Allah is just. He's just. To stand firm for justice is to be a witness of Allah and being godly. You see this? One time a man asked Imam Jafar Saed,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
He said, "Verily, divine unity and divine justice are foundations of faith. Since his knowledge is so great," talking about laws with each other, "it is impossible for even a wise man to understand it all. So teach me something that is easy to understand and easy to memorize," which is definitely a good thing. So the Imam, he told him, he said, based on the answer, he said, "As for divine unity," he said, "do not describe your Lord in the way you describe yourself." He said, "It's divine unity. Man should not describe Allah the way that we describe Himself. Because when we describe ourselves, it's not the way how Allah is. Because you hear people that say, "Oh, Allah created us in His image." So a lot of times people try to say, this is how we are in the image of God. But this is not true. We are created in an image in which Allah Himself has chosen, but not in His image. So as the story goes on, he said, "As for divine justice, do not apply to your Lord any of the shortcomings that you apply to yourself. And we see this. When man creates a law, the law, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, have to be revamped or be, how can I say it, done over, revamped, revitalized. Because somewhere down the line, this law has been flawed. And it's not able to benefit all of humanity or all of the society in which this law was created for. But whereas the laws of Allah was created for all mankind, without any discrimination. This is the justice of Allah. This is definitely the justice of Allah. And man falls short for this justice because when we create a law, it's only to benefit ourselves. But when Allah created a law, it's to benefit the creation, His creation. said one time Abu Hanifa was leaving the presence of al-Sadiq, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, one day, and he came across Musa ibn Ja'far. So he asked him. It's very interesting about this story, because I read one riwayah about the story. It said that Abu Hanifa was actually waiting to speak to Imam Ja'far outside of his home to try to get permission to come inside the house. And they said, this is the other house, he said that he saw a young boy, right? And he was walking while he was waiting for permission. And he asked him, young boy, where can a visitor, like me, relieve ourselves? So the Imam, he explained it to him. But then after this, he said, well, look, let me ask you this question. And this is where this question comes from. He says, young man, what is the source of insubordination? He answered, there are 3 possibilities about insubordination. We always insubordination is like when something is like a boss or somebody that leads us tells us to do something and we do the opposite. We don't want to do it. We refuse to do this. So he said, the Imam said, this is 3 possibilities. Now mind you, at the time the Imam was a young child and he answered this question. And Abu Hanifa was already an adult at this time. So he said, either it is from Allah, the mighty and high. That's one. Or it is not from him because it does not befit the gracious and he would not punish his servants for something for which he is not responsible. They said it could also be from both Allah, mighty and high, and from the servant. This is not the case, however, because it is not proper to suggest that the strong would oppress the weak. Whereas Allah is strong, and we as humans are weak. But we know that Abu Hanifa had the idea that everything in which we have done, we are compelled to do. Right? So, as the Imam said, finally option is that subordination comes from the servants. Therefore, if Allah punishes servants, it is because of his sins he has committed. And if he forgives his servants, it is out of the grace and his generosity. SubhanAllah. So here it is the justice of Allah, that Allah does not make his servant do anything and then come around and punishes him. This is saying that the weak has power over the strong to compel him. And by Allah making man do something and then punish him in return, we're saying that Allah is unjust. And we know Allah is just. So, in the eyes of Allah, who is strong, he would not compel us that is weak. See, because justice is the base that supports the whole world. Without justice, we have injustice running all over the world. People are losing the justice which was bestowed to us by Allah. This good living that Allah has bestowed upon us. Right? This is something which man didn't give us, something Allah gave us in his commandments. Regardless of who you are, Allah, justice reaches all, with or without man believing in him or not. It doesn't discriminate because you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, or you're Jew, or Sabian, or Magian, or whatever it is. Allah justice reach everybody. Because at the end of the day, we all are creatures of Allah. And we see this because when justice is portrayed, it said justice is sweeter than honey, softer than butter, and sweeter smelling than musk. And we all know how honey is sweet. We all know how soft butter is. And we know how good smelling musk or cologne is. But it said justice is way better than these things. Because just think about it. If somebody was to treat you unjustly, how would you feel? You feel upset. You feel violated. But when justice has prevailed, how do you feel? Better than all these things in which it is said in this story. You feel better than all. You're like, SubhanAllah. This is justice. Justice has been served. SubhanAllah. We see this, that Allah gives justice to everybody. Everybody's going to get their due justice. They said that one time, they said a brother of Musa alayhi salam, it wasn't his brother, but a brother believer of his, was asked by another brother to go to the king and ask him for a favor. Right? So he asked for a favor. So they said that the king rewarded this man the favor. So they said at the same time, both of these people had died. The king and the brother had asked for the favor. They both had passed away. They said when the king passed away, he had such a glorious, big funeral that everybody attended. It was gorgeous. And it said that when the believer passed away, he died in his household, and nobody knew he was dead, and maggots and everything was accumulating in his body. Now you ask, well, how can this happen? It seemed like there's no justice there. What is the justice in this? Because Allah did not want to punish one in the hereafter, right? Because he wanted to give him his rewards. And Allah, on the other hand, want to give that other person what he deserves now, so he don't get the benefits of the hereafter. So the thing in which that the king had received was the reward for him helping that believer. He received it by having a much beautiful funeral. So everybody attended his funeral. Whereas the believer, for going to the tyrant to ask the tyrant for help, Allah gave him his torment then in this world. So it was over like this. So he was able to get the real just due to him in the hereafter. SubhanAllah. This is the justice of Allah. We see this. Sometimes we say, well, maybe Allah is not treating us justly because we always in struggle. No, but Allah, He's given us all the things in which we deserve, where it really matters. And hereafter, yeah, sure, we don't need here. We visitors, we travel, we'll be done with this place in no time. Right? This is the justice of Allah. I have a question. And we have been talking about the justice of Allah. But what about people? Because there are just people in this world. So what are the qualities of a just person? Because there are people in this world that are just. We do find people that are just. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, he who treats people in such a way that he never wrongs them. Because a believer shouldn't be the one that always apologizes. He should always, or she should always be conscious of what he is doing to his fellow believer or non-believer. Right? He should always be conscious. So here does he say, in a way, such a way that he never wrongs them, and speaks to them and never lies to them. You should never lie to a person. This is the quality of a just person. And when he makes promises to them, he never breaks them. This is a just person. Such a person is perfect in his valuous qualities. His justice is manifest. And it becomes obligatory to consider him as one's brother and prohibit to backbite him. SubhanAllah. This is the qualities of some people, the qualities of people that are considered just. One is, he never wrongs anybody. So this person is always constant. He always thinking about, conscious, yes, thank you. He's always conscious about the next person. How many of us conscious of the next person? Not all of us. We're mostly conscious of what we're doing. And sometimes we may wrong a person unconsciously. But the signs of a just person is one who is conscious of what he's doing to the next person. So he never wrongs them. He never speaks, he never lies to them. Because a lot of times people lie even if it benefits them or it doesn't benefit them. They just lie. Wow. The next thing is that he makes a promise, he never breaks them. You know, sometimes we break promises, willingly and unwillingly. You know, do we really try our best to keep these promises? Allah knows best. And such a person said is prohibited to backbite him. This person is definitely a good person.